Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Vlog Media Breeze. What I do here is I provide you with commentary and reviews on the Real Housewives franchises, as well as Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I also do a live Saturday morning coffee with Breezy. I have not been doing that lately. Things have just been really busy. I need to get back into the groove of doing it every Saturday morning. I'm going to have to change the timing on it though and make it earlier. So you may have to catch it when you wake up. At any rate, I before I get started on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 3, I want to just kind of talk to you about something because I have learned that supporters on YouTube, a lot of times we call our, supporters subscribers or followers on YouTube. And I prefer to call them supporters. And I've noticed that there are certain people, even famous people, have low numbers to my surprise. They have low numbers. And I think that what happens is we attract the energy that we are. So we attract the energy that we are. And some of us may never have like a million subscribers or a million supporters because that's just not who we are. That's not the energy that we put out there. So I am glad, I guess, to be in the few in that respect. But on the other side, when you are here for income potential, you want to be on the higher side. And I just wanted to put that out there. The other thing I wanted to share with you this morning is there are so many things happening in the world today. So I want you to really be prepared to fill your house with food. You need to be getting food, really bathroom tissue, paper towels, canned goods. Don't eat that stuff they send in the mail because I have done some research and it's all plastic. I don't care who's sending it. If someone is sending you food in the mail that it takes about 7 days to get to you, that's plastic. And they did a special on it not too long ago and on television, I can't remember which station was doing it, but they showed the place where that kind of food is made. They have no windows. It's they don't even want you to see what they do inside. So just bear with me one moment. I'm sorry. I need to one moment. I need to get my fan. One moment. Okay, I am back and I needed to get my fan. I tell you, I I have so much to go over. Last night's show was just jam packed. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Um, I'll say at the end what I was going to say um, earlier. But the reunion starts out where it ended, and that is with Kathy and Kyle rebonding as sisters. Kathy is in tears, I guess, because they have brought up some questions about the mom that just brought back memories for her. And last week, she actually had a full on breakdown. If you go back and watch my reviews, then I say to you, she had a full on breakdown. And it's, a lot of people disagreed with me. I just think that that warrants looking into some kind of therapeutic process for her. Uh, Andy asked Kathy how many episodes of American Woman did she actually watch. And Kathy said I think she said she watched one or she didn't watch it all the way through or either didn't watch it. I did not really get the complete understanding of her answer. I just want to say this. uh, Kathy's mom and Kyle's mom and Kim's mom was also named Kathleen. So Kathleen was all three of their mothers. So if Kyle wants to talk about her experience with her mother, Kathy does not have a right to intervene in that. She really does not. If Kyle wants to talk about her experience with her mother, that was possibly different than Kathy's experience, then Kathy does not have the right to say that she cannot create a movie or produce a movie about that. There's a part of Kathy, people are really, they like her quirkiness on the show. I can get quirkiness anywhere. I don't think that Kathy should be a part of the show unless she's going to open up in the way that we expect other housewives to open up, which is she would need to bring Rick on at times, at times, and he will need to bond with the other men on the show. Now, he will not need to be with them all the time. He needs to get over whatever happened with him and Mauricio because I'm going to tell you, life is short. And that is what I was going to say earlier in the beginning of this review is life is short. But I was going to talk about it relative to something outside of this review on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but it just seems to fit at this point. So her and Kyle, they hug it out, and uh, it looks like they have had 10 years apart or 10 years of feuding, and they have now eventually come back together. If they have not talked about it, then they are not being honest about their reunion because when you have separated from a sibling for that amount of time and you don't talk about whatever it is, if there's anything to talk about, then you're not dealing with the reality of the issues. You're just not dealing with the reality of it. And so that's going to hover over them until they do that. Andy asked them, in fact, did you ever really hash out your issue? And Kathy thinks that it has to happen in due time because sometimes you go to hash out something and people don't like what you have to say or they don't like the process. And that's true. That's true in due time. But sometimes that time never comes for you to hash it out. And I do believe in hashing things out. I'm just that person. I'm very open. I'm very, I'm more direct than most people. And so you have to be a strong person to be in my circle. And they start to talk about Kathy in one of the episodes because when she was talking about her mobile phone, she kept telling Kyle to have the lady to meet them to provide it to her. And Andy asked her, "Who is the lady?" And we find out that it's Paula. And Paula is the person who brought them the food on their trays when they were at Kathy's house. The episode, these things I'm going through now, I took notes on them, but I really don't want to go through them. I really want to get to the meat of it because I don't want to be here an hour. And but Garcelle, we learned that Garcelle, remember in one of the episodes when Garcelle, Crystal, and um, Erika went for a walk when they were in La Quinta, and they were kind of in the desert somewhere, sitting on a little molehill. And Garcelle starts talking about her family in her confessional, and she leaves out the name of one of her sisters, and we learned that that sister was named Carol. And we also learned that she and Carol have had a falling out. When you get to be this age, if you're having still having fallouts with your siblings, then that is something that has harbored, I think, from years ago when you were even young children. If you're still having a fallout, because everyone should be at a point now where they are at least able to have a conversation. And so I don't know. I don't know. And then there's jealousy, amongst siblings, there's jealousy. People have jealous hearts. And for me, I don't like jealous people. I'm not going to have jealous people in my midst because I am a Bible student and I know what happened to Abel when Cain was jealous. So, um, the other thing that I wondered is Andy said to Kyle and Kathy, I was hoping to see all three of you together, meaning Kathy, Kim, and Kyle. And Kyle says, well, we'll see. There's a time and a place for that to happen. So is Kyle and Kim not speaking? It seems as though even Kyle really does play out her role. Well, Kyle's not even the middle child. Kim is the middle child. But Kyle has kind of middle child stereotypes, because the middle child is always usually the one who's on the outs with someone on the older or the younger. It's always that kind of issue with them. At least that is what psychology teaches. And sometimes the middle child syndrome does not really go with the middle child. It can go with someone like Kyle, who is the baby. But I think that her and Kim might not be speaking because of her response to that. She says, we'll see. There's a time and a place for that to happen. He starts talking to Crystal. I'm not going to stay long on Crystal because I think I don't know if Crystal is acting or if she's just trying to create, issues to stay on the show longer. And not that she needs to. Her husband is a multimillionaire. Um, but she starts talking about her racial experience and how her dad was at the gas station and someone said, "Hey, you're taking all of our jobs." And I don't know if he got attacked or if something happened at the gas station. And she goes on to say that even now she is receiving hundreds of racial remarks on her Twitter. Did anyone else who follows Crystal on Twitter see these other messages that are supposed racial remarks? Because I uh, I am a Black American female, and while I have had people say racist things to me, I've been called the N word. Um, just I've had people say those things to me. I haven't had hundreds. So for her to say she's getting hundreds, and she had to shut down her Twitter. Did anyone else who follows her on Twitter see that she was getting those messages? Was there a real reason for her to deactivate her Twitter, or did she just do it for attention? I'm just because really, quite frankly, Asians are a race. Okay, they are a race, and Black people are a race, and then white people are a race, right? Or at any rate, the only people who really look vastly different are Black people. We are the ones, it would seem to me that Garcelle would receive hundreds of, negative emails as opposed to Crystal. So I don't know, were people upset with her because of what she said to Sutton? Because sometimes, the W's will do that. They'll get upset with you if you say to someone else who is of white persuasion or Caucasian persuasion that they are, racist, then other people will start to, I've noticed, ambush stars online. So maybe it was something like that. And if that's the case, people, you don't have the right to do that to someone. People can talk about how they feel about race. You don't have the right to go in and attack people on their Twitter and on their social media just because they feel a certain way about how they were treated and that they are speaking their truth. I speak my truth about racism because I've experienced it. My ancestors were slaves in this country. How much more racist can it get? So I just have a question about whether or not she actually receives hundreds to the point where she had to deactivate her Twitter. And the other thing, they did allow her to talk about her culture, and I thought that was really great how she brought that in, like with the Chinese New Year, and even with the food and the dumplings and all of that. I really liked that. One thing, I only would love for them to have received Garcelle's culture in the same manner. In fact, Andy really embraced Crystal's culture on the reunion last night. But he didn't embrace Garcelle's. In fact, Kathy did not even show up to Garcelle's Haitian dinner. I want the reunion to talk about that in depth because Kathy has some microaggressive techniques that she's hiding. She's very subtle with them. And she's almost vindictive. I remember at the table, whenever Garcelle says, "Do you know what it's like to walk into a room and, have a certain experience?" And Kathy goes, "Yeah, I do. I do." That was Kathy's microaggression. She didn't want Garcelle to talk about what it's like to be Black because oftentimes white women don't like for us to talk about what it's like to be Black, and white men as well, but mostly white women, they don't like for us to talk about what it is like to be Black. I'm Black. I'm going to talk about my culture. I'm going to say it out loud. I should be allowed to do that. But that really bothered me that Andy did not provide Garcelle with the support on her culture as he did with Crystal. He really embraced that last night. Um, okay, so next they start showing flashbacks of the women's fashion, and Dorit is the most fashionable housewife, period, on television. She really is. And when they showed her after the show, they had pictures that the ladies took after the show, and I was online and I was looking at some of them. I didn't see where any of the beads fell off of Dorit's dress the way that Garcelle described when she was on Watch What's Happening Live the other week. She said that the beads were all over the floor and they had to get them up, and I didn't see that. Her bead, and I was looking for it. And they showed some close-up pictures of her. So did they glue them back on or something? I didn't see it. Anyway, you guys get down in the comments. Thank you for being here. This is just I'm doing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 3 review from last night, and I'm just giving my review, my comments. I want to hear your comments and your side as well. Um, Dorit's fashions are off the chain. I like her taste and everything. The one thing I did not understand was the pocketbook, Crystal's pocketbook. What was the Hermes bag? That $95,000 bag. There's no pocketbook in the world worth $95,000. If you're spending $95,000 on a bag, you need to find a charity. You need to find a couple of inner city children to put through college. That Hermes bag, I didn't even like it. It was ugly. I didn't like the bag. They made a big deal out of it probably because of, you know, the designer. It's not anything I would buy. i- Literally, if I was just walking by and I looked at it, I would not want it. So that tells you about people's thinking and about marketing. Tells you how good marketing is, that you can get somebody to spend $95,000 on a bag that you put together. Okay, whatever. So it goes here. Andy tells Kathy that she's been called an icon by the viewers and a national treasure. And I like her response because it was quite humble. He complimented her, and she gave the compliment to the other women on the stage, saying that she's amongst some of the smartest, most intelligent women here. So it doesn't really matter to her what people think about her because she feels like the other women are greater than her. So that was a really very poised and very classy response to give. So I really liked that. So next, he says to Erika, I'm going to put you on a skewer and fire up the barbecue. And then Erika says that, oh my goodness, what did she say? She said something about she is effing ready for it. You know, um, is that the part where he did that? I'm sorry. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, because after he says that, Erica tells him that she's effing ready for him. In other words, she's effing ready for the questions. Um, they do some flashbacks of the LA Times article that said that there was more than $20 million funneled into an account for Erica Jane, and it's Jayne. I've saw people on YouTube misspell her name, but it's Erika Jayne, Jayne. And uh, the flashbacks show the fans, what they're saying about her. It shows the newspapers, and I think I'm getting ahead of myself. One moment. One moment, one moment, one moment. Okay, let's see here. Let me go back a little bit. Oh, never mind. Okay, no. It shows the newspapers, and then he comes back and he says he says to her that there have been many stories out there about her. They show the article that implied that she knew something about the issue with Tom Girardi. For me, my viewpoint is it doesn't matter to me if she knew or not. I'm past that. She's going to continue to lie about that. She is really the great deceiver, and I really have tried to empathize with Erica so that I could have a good balance between what is going on with her, why it is that it's so difficult for her to apologize to the victims. But this reunion part 3 last night really opened up my eyes whenever I watched how she responded to Andy's questions. This woman is not the least bit interested in the victims. She is only interested in herself, and she wants everyone to get on board with her. She is literally like, just like, it's evil. I have to call it what it is. She is the great deceiver. And all of these women are like, really? I don't know what is going on. They are just like, oh, yeah. I mean, they are all in for Erica. They are ride or die. Right now, they would die for her. That's what it looked like last night, especially with Lisa Rinna, who looks so desperate. Lisa, she needs to put that bag of pills away. I hope she's not still on them because something is not right about that woman. Something is not right about her. Her whole motion, the way she moves, her responses, her eyes, her responses to the camera, something is very, very imbalanced about her. And Andy loves her. He loves her. He wants her to stay on the show. That's why he doesn't hold her accountable for breaking a glass that could have popped in someone's eye, but he wants to hold Monique accountable. And I do agree he should hold Monique accountable, but he should also hold Lisa Rinna accountable as well. I digress on that. But Erica is just not going to apologize to these victims, and she's going to blame it on the attorneys. Oh, I can only say so much. You can apologize. There have been people who have been in trouble, who have been in the been famous and they've been in trouble and they've come out and they've given apologies and they haven't been prosecuted. That has happened in years past. So there's no reason for your attorneys to tell you that you cannot give a sentimental statement to show that you care about these victims. The point is, she doesn't care. That's why she's fighting it. She's fighting this process. Um, she even says to Andy at one point, uh, no, she's at the table. And no, they show her at the table when she's saying, there's going to come a day when this thing is over, and I'm going to remember everyone who was with me and who wasn't with me. They show her saying that at the table. So it comes back to Andy, and Andy says, so who is for you and who is against you? I don't know. Ask them. I'm keeping score. So she's keeping score on who. Is that a threat? I mean, is that a subtle threat? I'm going to remember who was with me and who was against me. Because why would they care? Why would they care if you knew they were against you or for you? People need to be able to express their value system, their moral value. They need to be able to say that without being threatened. As adults, we need to be able to say what our moral value is. And Erika is a bully for trying to make people think that they cannot express that to her. That's what a bully does. A bully wants you to come all in for them, be on their side. No, you don't have a mind of your own. You got to think like me, or you got to be on my side. No, Erika, other grown people, grown women, do not have to be on your side, except Lisa Rinna, of course. She's like a little crazy puppy dog. Okay? She doesn't want to bring up her mess when the rumors out there are that her husband is not even really into her anymore. He's into some man in Canada, allegedly. And I have an issue. Here I am. I need to pause here. I used to watch Lifetime. I don't watch movies and real television anymore. I don't. I do watch the news occasionally. I do watch reality shows like The Housewives and Love and Marriage Huntsville. However, beyond that, I'm not really into television. I do not go to movies. I can't even name the actors and actresses anymore. I say that because um, people often like they put stars and people on this pedestal, and uh, it's just, I don't know. Television has this effect on people, and it makes people think that because you're big, everyone has to come over to your side. That's this whole thing, like with Instagram and people trying to get followers and trying to get people to ride or die for them. Other grown people do not have to do that for you. They don't have to do that. I think that television and movies and um, certain aspects of it have really degraded this society. I really do think that it has. And Erica is one of these people. She wanted to be something big, and she really did not make it to that level, you guys. That pretty mess scene that she does, it did not make it to that level. And but she feels that. She wants to be like the people in Beverly Hills. That's why she left Georgia to go to Beverly Hills. She wants to be like them. And I think that's what this whole thing is about. She's losing money, she's losing her status, and that's she needs to lose it. She needs to just let it go and be humble and lose it and figure a way to start all over, build a network of people. You were married to Tom Girardi, so there must be a network of people. But I also think that Erica gives me mob tendencies. Like she gives me that she might know people who can come and do bad things to you kind of tendencies. And maybe that's what the women know. Maybe that's why they're all afraid to say what they really think, because even Kyle said, Mauricio said he believed you in everything. Honey, in that scene, Mauricio said he did not believe her. He said they were all lies. But now he believes her. So even Mauricio is bowing down. I just don't get it. Um, Kyle also interjects and she says to Erika the thing that is um no, I'm sorry. Erika tells them the thing that hurts her is what they all said at the dinner that night. Kyle and Mauricio, Dorit and PK, because they were laughing at her. And so Kyle turns and tells her that the thing that really sticks with her is, you're all over Instagram doing things, and Erika has no shame. She says she's going to stay on Instagram. She's going to continue doing what she does on Instagram. It's just, it's not even tone deaf at this point, because sometimes people are tone deaf because they really don't get it, right? I believe she gets it, but she doesn't want to get it. She doesn't want to give into it. And that's the worst kind. That's worse than being tone deaf, because it means that that what is happening is wrong, but you don't want to empathize with them. You're making a conscious decision not to empathize with the victims. And there were victims. People lost family members on that flight. Boeing paid Girardi, whatever the firm's name is, they paid the firm that your husband works for. And then he funnels $20 million into your account. And now you want to lie about it? If the LA Times prints it, why is it that the LA Times can be credible about all their other stories, but for Erika, they're not being honest about her? They don't have any proof. Why would that paper that has been around for a century print something that was false? Why would they take a chance on that? Especially on you, Erika. All their other stories are true, but the one about you is false. Okay, I believe them. I believe them. And Dorit, here goes Dorit. I never intended to make a mockery of your situation. Dorit is so two-faced. She had it all for Garcelle in the first part of the reunion. She used up all her energy, her negative energy on Garcelle. And with Erika, she doesn't mean to make a mockery of her situation. I tell you, these women are so duplicitous. I can't. I cannot. And if you look at my previous reviews, I really like Dorit. I think she's gorgeous. I like her fashions. And I like the fact that she can speak her mind and hold her ground. But this right here, this divide right here, you had so much to give to Dorit the other week. And when Dorit really was holding you accountable for what you said about Erika, she was only holding you accountable for that. That's why you were really mad. So Dorit, you're two-faced, you know? So, um, what happened next? Okay, there's still, okay. Oh, Erika says she's not going to run away because of an LA Times article. Well, that's okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you watch last night? You're here. I don't see any comments. Um, I know that Sutton really got upset when she read the article. She said the article really upset her, and it made her feel a certain way because Erika left the day before the article came out. And Erika says it wasn't because of the article and that it was because of Garcelle. So blame Garcelle. Garcelle repeated something that you said that was going to eventually be on TV because the cameras were there, but you want to blame her for you leaving. It showed on television, Erica. The camera showed you saying that you talked to Tom every day. The camera showed that. And when Garcelle got back to the house, she just repeated it. So why is it Garcelle's fault? The cameras were there when you said it, they were there when she said it. Kathy Kathy also has this empathy for Erica. And I get that Erica feels like, hey, I'm the wife, he's the attorney. I was just, living my entertainment life, and there were things I didn't know. I get that. But now you know. Even if you didn't know, now you know. So where is the empathy, even as a wife? There were orphans, people's parents were on that flight. And the crash of the flight is Boeing's responsibility, right? But Boeing, in order to make up for it, paid the victims, paid the people who were left behind, and they got none of that. That's embezzlement. How is it that they're calling this a civil case? Why isn't Tom in jail somewhere, in prison? And Erica, why isn't she showing some empathy? This is evil, you guys. This is evil. It has evil written all over it. How can you do that to somebody and not empathize with them? I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to win the lottery just so I can pay them. It's like, it's just crazy that she will not even acknowledge their pain. And then she says to Andy, um, understand this. We're a long way from finding out what really happened. I was done. I was screaming at the television. I tell you, if I didn't love my television so much, I would have been throwing things at it. I I just we're a long way from finding out what really well what do you mean we're a long way from finding out what really happened? We know what really happened. We know what really happened. You have Rui Gomez, the gentleman even who 90% of his body was burned. That happened. Your husband represented him. He won. Your husband didn't pay him. We should not be a long way. Whatever happened to quick and expedient trials? I thought that people were supposed to have quick and expedient trials. Why is this thing taking? It is taking too long, if you ask me. When things start to take too long, it means that people are making excuses. Quite like the job where I work. They're making excuses for their wrong behavior against me as well. Okay. But I digress on that. She says she feels horrible. And because Andy asked her, how does she feel? He says, listen, it- this doesn't fare well when you have victims involved. Because Kathy tries to intervene and says, wait, there's been other cases on other shows. And Andy has to explain to Kathy, but there are victims involved here. See how airheaded Kathy is? I'm sorry, I'm not feeling her at all. Take her off the show. Oh, we like her quirky ways because she says, oh, you don't want to eat a gorilla. Please. Or because she doesn't know who Hunky Dory is. I'm just like outdone. Last night I was really outdone. Um, Andy reminds Erika that the Erika Jane character is built on consumption. And he wants to know what it is that she knew. And she says, well, it's best in any of these situations to say nothing. And the women are sitting there like shaking their heads with her. They're shaking their heads, say agree in agreement with her. She tells him, I did not work at Girardi Keys. All the financials were kept there. That's her response to him, basically. Quick answer. So you cannot tell me she didn't know he was going to ask that question. He says, what did she know? I did not work at Girardi Keys. All the financials were kept there. He gave her the questions and she showed them to the attorneys and they told her what to say. And Crystal goes on to say, well, if Rob did this to me, like, where is your anger to him? I don't even care about her anger to him. You can't tell someone else how to feel about someone else. If she doesn't feel anger against her husband, that's between them. I don't, if because she loves him, that's his wife. I'm not going to try to divide them. She should be really supporting him, if you ask me. She should be there with him. She should not have divorced him. I think the divorce was a ploy to hide the money. And then Rena goes, everybody thinks you should beat on time, and we don't always do what everybody thinks we should do. Shut up, Lisa Rena. Shut your big upper lip. Because that top lip of yours is not matching the bottom one. It's like so bubbled up. It has so much detox in it. Maybe that's what's going on with you. Be quiet. You didn't have a story. You shouldn't even be coming back next season. The only reason I want Dorit to come back is because I do like Dorit, even though I don't like the way that she treated Garcelle. I do like her, and I like her spunkiness and her ability to. She does speak her mind. Um, I really think the whole thing with Garcelle was she was upset because Garcelle called her out, and she was actually when Garcelle came on the show, you all, Dorit was the first person to really kind of embrace Garcelle, quite frankly. And she probably felt slighted by Garcelle when Garcelle called her out. Nonetheless, you should not have been treating Garcelle like that. You should have taken her somewhere aside alone and had the conversation with her, Dorit, the way you do everybody else. But I like you and I want to see you on the show. And I like PK and I like the kids and I love your house. It's beautiful. I like looking at it. Okay. Um, at any rate, that's pretty much it. You know, the show ended with Erika being questioned, and Erika is just really the great deceiver. And I just can no longer, I really have tried because I love to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when everyone else is coming at them, because I know what that feels like over and over again. I've had that happen to me more than once in my life where I'm the innocent one and everyone is coming at me. Okay. And that is called group think. Okay, there you always have people in a group, and Freckles talks about this over there on her channel. You always have people in a group who are afraid to speak up because they don't want to be left out. So what they do is they just go along to get along with the majority. Okay, um, but the Bible, Revelations 12, talks about the deceiver who is the devil, the accuser, the deceiver, you know, all of that. So when people are accusing you of things that you have not done, no, they are the devil. That's just who they are. And you stay away from them, is what you do. Don't embrace them because they'll do it worse. Trust me, they will, is my experience. Even on the job that I'm at now. They are constantly trying to get into tracking me, my whereabouts, and everything. And they don't have a right to do that after work. They can do that on their system, but not on mine. They don't have a right to do that. But anyway, I'm going to talk about that on Vlogsphere. As you can see at the bottom, the banner going across, Vlog Media Brees, Journalism in a Vlog, Thursdays at 9:30. Vlogsphere Talk. So I'm going to go over there tonight and talk about that in detail. Um, at any rate, that's it, you guys. You know, I just think that Erika doesn't really care about the victims. She is very selfish and she only cares about herself. And that's a shame because you can't change another grown person. We have to accept that this is who she is, and she's going to get hers because God is not going to allow her to do that to so many people, her or her husband. And so I digress. As you come in on the replay, please go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the notifications bell. I think the notifications bell doesn't exist anymore. I think it doesn't. I don't know if there were issues going on with it. I do know a lot of my subscribers do not get the notifications. I know this because they send me emails and they also sometimes put it in the comments that I get. And I may have to get a phone number so that I can notify you whenever I'm going to be on. Um, at any rate, thank you for showing up and many blessings to you.